Hello and welcome back. Today's video about yoga and fibromyalgia. We're going to show you today basic yoga breathing techniques and poses that can help patients with fibromyalgia. Let's watch it together. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to have you. Would you mind tell us more about yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate just being able to come on here and share some of my experience. My name is Kimberly Costello, and I'm a yoga therapist and a yoga teacher of a little over 22 years now. And I work both in a clinical and in a private setting, showing people how to develop programs that are very personal to the chronic issues, chronic pain that they're dealing with. And those programs usually include breathing techniques, meditation, and very gentle movement customized to how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis.
Wonderful. As you know, fibromyalgia is very common and is affecting about 10 million people in the United States. It's a horrible disease to make you feel horrible, pain all over your body. Some people get depression and anxiety because of the chronic pain. We would love to learn from you how to use yoga to heal the pain from fibromyalgia.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you guys a little about it because there are a couple of key things that we can do on a daily basis to really help reduce the pain and inflammation. So I myself manage and deal with chronic fatigue. And I was actually having a little bit of a flare up a couple of days ago leading up to this. And it really made me think of all of you and how I can share what I notice about myself going through those moments. So, as you mentioned, depression and anxiety is a huge piece of this puzzle because you're not feeling good. And if you're not feeling good on a regular basis, it gets you down, and it's hard when you can't move, when you can't do the things that you want to do, when you move through pain, when you move through fatigue. So there are several ways we can approach this with yoga. And what I want to do today is start with the root of it all, with the core, which is always going to be the breathing. So what's wonderful about breathing is it helps us get into our nervous system. When we are in a chronic state of pain, dealing with any kind of a chronic issue, our nervous system tends to remain in the sympathetic state, that fight or flight. That leads to rapid, short breathing that often stays stuck in our chest and in our upper back. And then if we're already tight in those areas of the body, it's hard to break that up and get the breath moving. Also, we tend to become reverse breathers, where we're drawing in on the inhale, which is actually in opposition to our diaphragm. So we're kind of running into our body. And then that takes away from the amount of breath capacity we can find. And then we end up kind of pushing out on the exhale. So we're going to work on sort of re-educating our nervous system on how to breathe with the diaphragm. So that's going to be in and out through the nose, because we're going to be able to show the body that breathing through a smaller airway, that being the nose versus the mouth, you'll start to see that on your own, you'll start to find your breath slowing down, and that's going to bring you more ease. And that will start to shift the nervous system into that parasympathetic system, which is more about rest, digest, and replenish. So we're going to put two things together today that I absolutely love, which is a restorative passive posture. And I offer for you to maybe grab some pillows off of your bed or your couch, whatever feels comfortable yet stable and sturdy, because we're going to have the opportunity to place something under our legs, which helps release the lower spine and open our hips, and place something, I'm sitting on my bolster right now, but I'll show you in a moment, place something under the spine, and that's going to help open the chest, open the back, open the ribs, the shoulders, all those areas that we get tight in. And also the added benefit is that you'll be able to feel the breath moving a little easier through the body. So I'm going to come off of my favorite little bolster here, and you don't need anything fancy. Just grab a pillow and I'm going to place it on my mat here. The key is sitting on the floor. And the good news is if you don't have a yoga bolster, grab a long pillow so you can put it long ways, or you can grab a blanket or a towel and you can fold them and stack them as high or as low as you'd like. If you're just starting out, I would say go a little smaller so you don't have it too high or thick, because it can be a really big opening. This is going to create a back bend, which is going to be opening our thoracic spine, going into that upper middle back, and then we're going to relax through the neck and the lower back. And that's also an energetic movement when we open the chest and the back. So that helps increase our energy as well. So we're going to go for first resting and breathing and restoring the body today. And then we can add movement later. So I'm sitting on the floor, and really important to take care of your spine on the way down. You want to bring the feet to the floor, bend the knees. I already had my second pillow set up, and I'm just going to pause and assess and check in with myself and make sure that this is feeling comfortable for me. So my neck feels supported. It's nice and long. I'm going for a neutral neck and lower back here. If I didn't feel comfortable, I could lift up and put a little blanket or pillow under my hips, which I tend to like. You can let your legs just go neutral over the pillow, which is going to just do kind of a nice relaxed opening for the front of the hip. If you want to go for more the outer part of the hip, you can take soles of the feet together and let the legs just kind of fall out naturally so they're supported by the pillows. And palms down often feels a little more settling to me. If you turn your palms up, it helps invite some energy in, as well as open your shoulders and kind of get us out of that rounded place of posture, that hunched, rounded position that a lot of us get into. I invite you to close the eyes, and without attaching to or judging how you're breathing in this moment, just start to let the breath happen in and out through the nose. Just notice the air in and the air out. We're going to bring our focus, our attention to expanding the belly, ribs, and chest with each inhalation, and releasing chest, ribs, belly with every exhalation. And just notice how that feels. Again, we're re-informing, re-educating the body and nervous system. So it takes time to get comfortable, get familiar with this. There's no rush. We're just offering ourselves a little bit of time for self-care, time to really check in and listen to the body. Notice the pace and rhythm of the breath. Envision that you're filling all the way up to the top of the lungs with that inhalation. Maybe take a subtle pause if that feels comfortable right now. And when you feel as though you have nothing left to fill up, allow that exhalation out through the nose to happen, fully emptying the breath. Notice your lower spine settling down towards the floor and that pillow beneath you, so that we're creating more space, more energy, more breath with every inhale, and a little bit more release, letting go with every exhale. And maybe notice how many counts you're comfortably breathing in and out for. And don't worry so much about what that answer is in the moment. It's just a time for observation. You might notice that it's easier to take a breath in versus a breath out. Again, whatever that answer is, just try to stay with that, stay with the breath. Notice where there's ease and where there's effort. And just continue at a comfortable pace, whatever that is for you today. Allow the muscles of the face to soften and release. Unclench the teeth. Relax the jaw. Soften the lips. Releasing the tongue from the top of the mouth. And let's stay with this breath as long as you're comfortable. And just continue to envision that you're expanding a little more with every inhalation. And getting a little bit more release, softening the areas that feel tense, feel rigid with every exhalation. Reminding ourselves that the best thing we can do is keep moving and breathing, but in ways that feel good for us. So the most important thing is to continuously check in, only doing things that are providing positive benefits, mind and body. Let's take about 5 more deep breaths here. Again, this is just about slowing everything down. The more relaxed we feel, the easier it will be to move and loosen up the muscles, better support our joints, and importantly, lowering inflammation in the body. When you're ready, just very gently wiggle the fingers and the toes. We're gonna come out slowly. We wanna think about we were bringing our body, our mind, our nervous system to just a nice calm place. So if you have the soles of the feet together, just have the hands to the outer legs to support and bring the feet to the floor, bending the knees. Take a moment, maybe blink the eyes open. Pause, just do a little check-in, see how you're feeling. And you want to be really careful to support the spine, the body on the way up. So we'll just shift to whatever side feels easiest. No right or wrong here. And we pause, we kind of catch ourselves rolling to the side. And then we're going to press up slowly. And then we'll just come around, take a moment to just sit comfortably, whatever that is for you. I'm always sitting on a little pillow because it lengthens the spine, helps the breath, and it supports our hips. And I'll just ask you to take a moment and maybe take one last closing breath with me. If it's comfortable, reach the arms up with an inhale. Again, think space, we're expanding, belly, ribs, chest. Drawing hands to heart as we exhale, we're softening, releasing chest, ribs, and belly. Thank you for taking the time to practice with me. Remember that you can take 5 minutes, you can take 10 minutes, you can take as long as you'd like, breathing and just laying and resting and restoring the body. Namaste. Thanks again for joining us for Yoga for Fibromyalgia. So step one was doing a passive restorative posture. We used some props, which I highly recommend grabbing some things in your house to use, some pillows. And we were really talking about just getting the body to a place of calm and ease, lowering our inflammation, and learning how to educate the body to breathe in a way that supports the body better. So we're going to stay with breathing in and out through the nose, but we're going to come onto the back. These are some of my favorite hip and spine openers. So I'm going to move my props out of the way and come down nice and easy. So I'm always going to use my feet to the floor, knees bent, lowered down with my arms one at a time. And we're going to start with finding this neutral place in our spine. What is this neutral place? It's finding a place where we don't feel that we're arched or rounded through the spine. So if you find that you need a little extra support for the neck, you can always fold up a little towel or blanket and just kind of support the neck, because you want to make sure that your neck is nice and long and neutral. And we'll pause here for a moment and just do a little check-in with the breath, reminding ourselves that everything that we're doing is making choices for things that feel good for us. So I don't want you to push through pain or discomfort. I want you to pause and breathe and check in and decide when and if these movements feel good for you. You know your body better than anyone. So let's come to that breathing in through the nose. Maybe take a moment to place the hands on the belly so you can feel the belly, the ribs, and the chest expand. When you take that breath out through the nose, notice the belly softening down away from the fingertips, lowering the spine, that lower back into the floor. Your chest and your ribs are softening down as well. So again, on that inhale through the nose, we expand the breath, the belly, the ribs. You've got these front, side, back ribs are all on board with this process. And when you're ready to empty that breath out, we release and soften. Let's take a few more breaths like that before we add some gentle movement and we get comfortable with connecting breath with movement. That's the key to feeling better. It helps the movement become a little easier, a little softer. It releases our tension, our stress, our physical and our emotional stress, which all adds to anything that's going on in the body, especially when we're in a chronic state of discomfort and illness, we're struggling, we're fatigued, or we're achy on a regular basis. The stress is just going to cause more inflammation and exacerbate it. And it's not easy to maintain our stress, but know that you can always come back to the breath. So from here, I'm going to invite you to just draw one knee slowly into the chest at a time. So this is flexion, basically forward bending, and just do a little gentle rocking from side to side. Initially, this is a great way to just warm up and relax, do a little massage for the spine. So you're just breathing in and you're breathing out. And you'll probably start to notice how your spine and how your hips are feeling in this moment. So just keep that in mind. And we're going to turn this into warming up hips and hamstrings and spine here. So from here, keep that right leg hugging in. I'm just going to drop my left leg down to the floor. Pause, exhale out all the air. Maybe flex the feet for a moment here to engage the backs, the legs, the hamstrings a little more. Let's add on here. On an inhale, let your left arm come out to the side, palm up to open up that shoulder. Pause, exhale out all the air. Still think of neutral spine, relaxing low back to the floor. We're going to take that right arm to assist. And on an inhale, we're going to open that right hip. It's going to open into the hip and to the groin, the inner part of the leg. And we open only to where it feels comfortable for us. When you exhale, cross it over gently. Take your left hand to your right leg, right arm relaxes, and you're just going to gently roll to your left hip. This doesn't have to be a big movement. Little movements go a very long way in yoga. So think subtle. When you come back to your inhale, no rush. Switch that back, left arm relaxes, right arm opens that hip. Again, that's our inhalation. Think space. When you exhale, we cross over, support that twist, right arm relaxes. Maybe turn the head with you. If you want a little bit more stretch for the neck and it's comfortable, you're always welcome to turn your head in the opposite direction. That's a little bit more of an active stretch because we're taking the head out of alignment with the spine. Let's take that again on an inhale. Gently opening. On an exhale, we're twisting. So can you always decide how much you want to come into this twist? If I felt it was comfortable bringing my leg to the floor, I might, but that doesn't mean I'm getting a better twist. My spine has to tell me what's right. So again, on an inhale one more time, let's come back and open. You can do this 3 or 4 times. You can do it 2 to 3 times. You decide every time you come into your practice. So we're going to use this next breath in to bring it back to that starting point that I always call center. When you take an exhale, engage your abs here. That's going to help with strengthening the abdominals, which helps support your spine. And we're going to pull that left leg in. We're going to switch sides here. So just do a little check-in. You'll notice left to right is always a little different. One's easier than the other. You'll take an inhale to take your right leg down to the floor. Pause, exhale out all the air. So a nice passive stretch for the front of the hips, the hip flexors. So from all that sitting that we do, and bring that right arm out to the side, palm up, shoulder down. That's another inhale. We're just gonna pause here, exhale out all the air. Next inhale, we're just gonna gently open the hip. Try to keep your opposite hip grounded in this moment so we keep the integrity and support and stability of our spine. When we exhale, we cross over here. So we take our right hand to our left leg and roll gently to the right hip. Left arm can relax. And then again with an inhale, we open. The nice thing is if you keep your palm up, shoulder down each time the arm is down to the floor, you're opening the shoulder a little bit more, as well as the chest, because it gets us out of that rounded position. And we all get that way because we do a lot of work on our computers and our phones. Let's take that 2 more times, breathing in and out, your own pace. The pace of your breath and movement is always your own. However your body feels, you're taking as many breaths as you need. And again, your head can turn with you or away from you, depending on the day, is what you'll probably decide. So right here, we've covered spine, hips, hamstrings. We're going to come back to center with your next inhale and use your abs, again, teaching a little bit of strengthening here. Exhale, pulling the legs in and taking a pause. So let's get more into the backs of the legs here. We're going to extend the legs up to the ceiling here on an inhale and take the arms up and back. This is going to open up your upper middle back as well as increase some opening in the chest and the ribs. And exhale when we bring it down. And then what's happening is the backs of the legs are getting a nice stretch here. So the hamstrings, you can flex the feet to get a little bit more active. There's your inhale, reaching up and back. And on your exhale, bringing it down. And each time, let your shoulders just relax down. Again, breathing in, take it up and back. And again, this extra just extending the arms above the head is nice because it extends the spine. So we want to get the body moving in all directions. Take that 2 more times, and I'll reach up and back. And exhale, bring it down. Following your breath. Pause for a moment here. Deep breath in and out. Maybe take a little gentle rocking from side to side. Maybe circle it a few times in each direction. We're just kind of circling the knees. Again, a little massage for the spine. And then take it in the opposite direction. And the nice thing is you can do these movements as many or as few times as your body is telling you it's happy with. So let's take one more little movement here on the back. We're going to consider flexing the feet here. And you can support the legs. This is frog pose. This is going to get you into the hips, into the groin, and into the hamstrings again. So you can see our little theme here today. On an inhale, we're going to widen the legs to our comfort, and then continue with your inhalation. If you can, extend through the heels into straddle pose. And then exhale when you bring it back. You can use your abs here, draw belly to spine, press low back to the floor, and that gets you a little abdominal strength again. The days you want to work on strength, but maybe you're not ready to come up and hang out in a plank for several breaths, right? So again, we're inhaling and exhaling. A little added bonus here is one of my favorite postures, and it will give you an inversion as well. You could always scoot to the wall, take your legs right up the wall, and you can come into the straddle pose, and then you're supported. So on a day you would like that opening, but you want the rest, you can take that one more time, breathing in and breathing out. And let's bring it back down, bring the feet to the floor, and let's just take the feet to the edges of the mat, and we will close here with a little lower back and hip release. So just take your arms to your sides, and again, we're gonna get a little shoulder opening here in chest and back by just turning the palms up, relax the shoulders down. So I'm widening my feet more to the edges of the mat or wider as you see fit. Take a deep breath in through the nose. When you take a breath out, we're gonna just drop to the right, taking the feet just to the outer edges. You'll probably feel the top of the hips here, which is really nice because you want to tackle the whole hip, the whole wrap around the hip. Then when you take an inhale, we'll bring it back. These are just called windshield wipers. And when we exhale, we're going to drop over to the left. Pause, take a full breath in and out. Sometimes I put a little pillow underneath my legs, and then my legs can drop into that pillow, and I don't feel the need to pull the legs all the way to the floor. You go to where you feel the stretch. And again, breathing in, we'll come back. Do this one more time on each side. And breathing out to the right. Full breath in and out. On an inhale, bring it back to center. And then stay with that expanding and filling up the breath. And then on that exhale, drop to the left. And again, pause with me one more time for a full breath in and out. And if you see that you want to stay a little longer, that's great. Deep breath in, bring it back. Deep breath out, just let everything settle. Let's just take a pause here just to assess how we're feeling. Stay with breathing in and out through the nose throughout the day. Practice so that you can, again, teach the body to slow down. So just a little sequence you can do on the back the whole time and get a lot of opening to the entire body, those areas that we get really tight in. The next step that we do together will be a little bit more from hands and knees and moving up into standing. So I'm going to roll to the side, press up nice and easy, always being kind to the spine when we come up and down. And I thank you for joining me once again. So just bring hands to the heart. Namaste.
I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Send me your comments and feedback. I will see you guys soon.